I step into the lobby of my new high-rise. The marble beneath my feet is cool and polished, the soft clapping of my heels. The air smells of fresh paint and possibility. My name is Florence. I am 38 years old, no longer a young dreamer, yet here I am, standing on the threshold of a new chapter with my husband, Joseph, who is 40 years old. His boyish enthusiasm for our new life fades as he moves between us. The apartment on the 28th floor waits for us, pristine and untouched, like a blank page ready for our story. Joseph's eyes are bright as he inserts the key into the lock, an excited grin playing on his lips. "Ready?" he asks, and I nod, more reassurance to myself than a reply to his question. The door swings open to reveal vast windows that frame the city like a living mural. Sunlight spills across the hardwood floors, casting long, golden streaks that reach toward us as if in greeting. The space is open, the ceiling's high, and I can almost hear the echo of future laughter and whispered conversations. Joseph is already moving through the rooms, his steps light, his voice filled with dreams of what each corner and crevice could become. "Imagine the dinner parties we could have," he muses, running a hand along the sleek marble of the kitchen island. "Your brother would love the view from that balcony." I follow, a smile tugging at the corners of my mouth, watching him outline a space for a grand piano neither of us knows how to play but insists we'll learn. His childish wonder, usually so endearing, feels magnified here in our shared space, magnified and somehow more real. As we explore, I trail my fingers over the smooth stone of the countertops, the textured walls, absorbing every detail. This isn't just an apartment. It's a testament to our shared ambitions, a fortress against the outside world. I catch my reflection in the floor-to-ceiling window, my image superimposed against the sprawling city below. Is that woman really me? So composed, so content? Joseph's voice pulls me back from my reverie. "Florence, what do you think?" He stands in the center of the living room, arms wide, encompassing the entirety of our future. His eyes search mine, looking for approval or perhaps something deeper, a shared vision, a mutual dream. "It's perfect," I say, and I mean it. It's more than the luxury, more than the sweeping views. It's a new beginning, a chance to redefine ourselves away from the shadows of past grief and lost loves. Here, in this space, Joseph and I can craft something lasting, something purely ours. Yet, even as we talk of furniture and paintings, of colors and textures, I feel a whisper of doubt, like the flicker of a candle in a dark room. It's nothing, I tell myself, just the remnants of old fears. But as the sun sets, casting our new home into soft shadows, I wonder if light alone is enough to keep those doubts at bay. The future is bright, surely, but even the brightest light can cast the darkest shadows. The familiar clink of glasses drifts towards me as I unlock the door to our apartment. It's an ordinary Tuesday evening, yet the atmosphere feels charged, laden with an unexpected tension that tugs at the corners of my awareness. The laughter that greets me is too loud, too forced, and it grates against my nerves as I step inside. Joseph, my husband, is not alone. Beside him, lounging with a grace that feels meticulously crafted, is a woman whose beauty is undeniable, her every move calculated to enchant. She turns her head, her hair catching the light like spun gold, and her eyes lock onto mine with a challenge. "Ah, Florence, you've finally arrived," she purrs, her voice smooth, too smooth. Joseph's cheeks are flushed with more than wine, and his smile is tight as he rises awkwardly from his seat. "This is Emma," he says, gesturing to her with a hand that almost shakes. "My sister." Emma, in her mid-30s like me, yet worlds apart in every other conceivable way. I haven't seen her in years, not since the last family gathering that ended in whispered arguments and thinly veiled insults. Emma's smile widens as she takes in my startled expression. "Surprise. I thought I'd drop by and see how my favorite sister is doing in her glamorous new home." The word sister feels like a mockery coming from her, a term meant to imply closeness where there is none. I set my purse down slowly, my mind racing as I try to piece together why she would appear so unannounced, so unwelcome. The evening wears on with a brittle cheerfulness. Emma is charming, disarmingly so, weaving tales of her recent travels and adventures, her voice lilting with laughter that never quite reaches her eyes. Joseph laughs along, too loudly, too eagerly. Each laugh is a jab, each glance between them a secret I'm not privy to. When dinner ends, I begin to clear the table, the clatter of dishes a welcome excuse to turn my back on their whispered exchanges. But as I return to the living room, the sight that greets me stuns me into silence. Joseph and Emma sit close, too close, their heads bent together in intimate conversation. Their sudden quiet as I enter speaks volumes. The night's final act comes swiftly. Joseph, with a seriousness that feels like a slap, slides an envelope across to me. His eyes, which once looked at me with warmth, now hold a cold determination. These are divorce papers, Florence. I think it's best for both of us. The room spins, the walls closing in as the betrayal sinks its teeth deep into my heart. Emma watches with a sly satisfaction, her role in this play evident. Joseph, my Joseph, has turned into a stranger, his features twisted into a mask of resolve that I cannot comprehend. Yet, as the initial shock fades, a fierce calm settles over me. This is not the end I had envisioned, but it is an end nonetheless, and I will not allow it to be my undoing. My voice, when it finally comes, is steady, stronger than I feel. And why, Joseph, would you think that? I ask, my eyes never leaving his. His answer is evasive, his justification weak. We want different things, Florence. It's better this way. Emma's hand rests on his arm, possessive, triumphant. The scene is clear, the betrayal complete. But they're mistaken if they think they can discard me so easily, mistaken if they think this is the end of my story. As Joseph's words hang in the air, a brittle silence shrouds the room. Emma's grip on his arm is like a vice, a visual testament to her intrusion into my life. Their faces, expectant and triumphant, watch for my collapse, but something within me refuses to break. Instead, an unfamiliar laugh bursts from my lips, startling them as much as it does myself. Is that so? I manage, my voice laced with disbelief and a growing sense of clarity. The absurdity of their plotting, the audacity of their betrayal, it fuels a transformation within me, turning shock into steely resolve. I stand, my chair scraping back sharply against the polished wood floor. I move towards the window, my back to them, gazing out at the cityscape. The lights of the city flicker like distant fires, each one a beacon of solitude. My reflection stares back at me from the glass, eyes hard as flint, a slow smile spreading across my face as I turn back to face them. You both seem to be under some misconceptions, I say, my voice calm and even, belying the storm of emotions within. Joseph, this apartment, this building, it's mine. The effect of my words is immediate and satisfying. Joseph's face drains of color, his eyes darting from Emma to me, then back again, as if seeking some sign that this is a jest. Emma's hand falls away from his arm, her expression faltering, the edges of her certainty crumbling. I bought this building last year, under my maiden name, I continue, pulling the property documents from the drawer of the coffee table. I toss them onto the glossy surface, where they land with a decisive thump. Everything you see here, everything you thought to take from me, it's already mine. Joseph scrambles to pick up the papers, his fingers trembling as he flips through the legal jargon that seals his fate. Emma, for her part, looks on, dumbstruck and defeated, her schemes unraveling before her eyes. You plan to leave me destitute, to parade your affair under the guise of a fresh start? My voice rises, not in question, but in condemnation. The room feels colder, the shadows sharper as I watch them struggle to absorb the revelation. Joseph's response is feeble, a stammered attempt at explanation. Florence, we didn't mean. Save it, Joseph. I cut him off, the finality in my tone brooking no argument. Your intentions were clear. But so are mine. I step closer, my gaze locked on his. I am not the woman you take me for, not an obstacle to be discarded. I am the owner of this place, your wife, and I will not be underestimated or overlooked. Their shock gives way to a frantic desperation, but I am no longer the audience to their performance. I've turned the tables, and now they are the ones scrambling in the spotlight of their misdeeds. Consider these papers null and void, I declare, sliding the envelope back across the table to him. You will leave, both of you. Tonight. My command is not just a suggestion, it is an eviction. As they gather their things, their movements hasty and disjointed, I stand by the window, watching. They are silhouettes against the backdrop of my victory, small and diminished. The door clicks shut behind them, a sweet, final note to their departure. The apartment is silent now, the treachery expelled with their exit. I pour myself a glass of wine, the rich red liquid mirroring the pulse of triumph in my veins. I have weathered their storm, and as I sip slowly, savoring the taste of my resilience, I know that this is not just an ending. It is also a beginning. The morning sun pours into the now quiet apartment, its rays sweeping across the vacant spaces where laughter and betrayal once echoed. I stand at the window, coffee in hand, watching the city awaken. The gentle hum of morning traffic rises from the streets below, a symphony of the ordinary that feels strangely comforting. The apartment feels different today, expansive and serene, scrubbed clean of Joseph's presence and Emma's deceit. The shadows of last night's revelations linger, but they are just shadows now, powerless and fading with the morning light. I breathe in deeply, the scent of freshly brewed coffee mingling with that of my newfound freedom. After a long shower, where the hot water washes away the remnants of disappointment and hurt, I dress with care. The woman in the mirror looks back at me with a quiet strength. Her eyes, once clouded with doubt, now reflect a clear, unwavering resolve. I tie back my hair, the simplicity of the gesture marking the closing of one chapter and the beginning of another. I move through the apartment, each step deliberate. Here, in the space Joseph and I had shared, I reclaim every inch as my own. I rearrange the furniture, removing his favorite chair, his books, and pictures. With each piece that leaves, the place looks more like me and less like us. This is not just a cleansing, it is a declaration of my independence. Later, I sit at the dining table, a spread of paperwork before me, legal documents, bank statements, all the ties that bound us. One by one, I sort through them, separating my life from Joseph's with the stroke of a pen. My lawyer, whom I call to navigate the divorce proceedings, reassures me with her firm tone. You're in a good position, Florence. He won't see a dime of your assets. By noon, the apartment is transformed. It's lighter, airier, as if it too has breathed a sigh of relief. I make a light lunch, enjoying the simple pleasure of cooking for one. There's no one to please now but myself, no compromises, no disappointments. As I eat, I plan my next steps. The building I own is more than a home. It's an opportunity, a chance to redefine my purpose and reshape my future. Ideas flow freely, unimpeded by the need to consult or consider another's whims. I could convert some of these spaces into studios, offer them to artists, or perhaps start a small business of my own. The possibilities stretch out before me, exciting and endless. In the afternoon, I take a walk around the neighborhood. The streets are bustling with life, each person absorbed in their daily routines. I blend into the crowd, anonymous and free. The fresh air feels invigorating, fueling my thoughts about what lies ahead. By the time I return, the decision is made. I will sell this apartment, this beautiful cage of memories, and look for something new, something closer to the sea. There's a peace in that thought, a promise of renewal. The sea, with its endless tides and calming waves, calls to me, a beacon for my new life. The day ends with me on the balcony, the city spread out below like a kingdom. The sun sets, casting a golden glow over everything it touches. I feel its warmth on my face, a soft caress. I have faced betrayal and emerged stronger. I have reclaimed my space and my spirit. As dusk falls, wrapping the city in its gentle embrace, I know that tomorrow I will start anew. Not just in a place, but in every way that matters. The night whispers of potential, of hope, and of freedom. And I, Florence Martin, am ready to meet it. The first light of dawn casts a soft glow over the seaside town where I now reside, its gentle rays piercing through the fluttering curtains of my beachfront cottage. This new abode, nestled on the edge of the tranquil sea, is worlds apart from the high-rise labyrinth I left behind. It stands solitary, embraced by the soothing sounds of crashing waves and the salty tang of sea air, a sanctuary for a heart seeking peace. As I walk across the cool, sandy floors of my cottage, the simplicity of my surroundings resonates deeply within me. The walls, washed in shades of cream and pale blue, reflect the colors of the beach outside, creating a seamless harmony between my home and the vast expanse of ocean that stretches beyond my windows. With a steaming cup of tea in hand, I step out onto the wooden deck, feeling the rough texture beneath my bare feet. The horizon is a soft blend of pink and orange hues, painting a picture of calm and promise. The rhythmic sound of the waves, consistent and reassuring, speaks to me of new beginnings and the continuous flow of life. I think back to the tumultuous events that brought me here. Each deceitful act, each painful betrayal, now seems distant, like shadows dispelled by the morning light. I had once thought that my happiness was tied to the approval of others, to a life filled with superficial connections and material success. But standing here, with the vastness of the ocean before me, I realize how small those concerns now seem. This morning, like every morning since I arrived, I take my daily walk along the shoreline. The sand, cool and firm beneath my feet, provides a natural comfort as I tread along the water's edge. Seagulls call to one another overhead, their cries a wild chorus that belongs to this untamed landscape. As I walk, I reflect on the independence I have embraced. It was not merely the act of leaving behind a toxic relationship, but the act of stepping into my own power, of defining my life on my own terms. Here, in this quiet town, I am no one's wife, sister, or victim. I am simply Florence. The community here is small but vibrant, a tapestry of lives each uniquely woven with threads of resilience and quiet joy. I have begun to weave myself into this fabric, volunteering at the local library and joining a weekly art class where I paint the seascapes that captivate my heart. These activities, though simple, fill me with a sense of purpose and belonging that I had never found in my previous life's opulent isolation.